and audit just kept kicking me. And especially when I was down, it just kept kicking me while I was down. And I started work, and I probably took audit maybe 3 or 4 times before I even started work. And I ended up taking audit 10 times. And
Yeah.
so I was just lost. I was like, oh, I passed FAR. Like there was that mindset where like, oh, if you pass FAR, you could pass everything.
Yeah.
So not that I changed my approach. I think it got worse where I just started getting more insane. Like I was just like, let me just hit more hours. Let me just, you know, I redo the whole course again. I don't know what else am I supposed to do. So I didn't really have a process down. So that kind of got me through that 18 months before I started working where like I didn't really have a process. Like
Welcome to another episode of the CPA Exam Experience podcast from SuperfastCPA. I'm Nate, and in today's interview, you're going to hear us talk with Thomas. So as you'll hear in the interview, it was actually Thomas's dad who saw one of our YouTube ads and thought it sounded like a good idea, and he purchased it for Thomas. And then, because in the beginning, it was something his dad was telling him to do, he thought all he needed was his main review course, which he had. And so he never really even looked into the Superfast CPA program or didn't really use anything from it. And then before he knew it, I think a year or 18 months had gone by and he had failed some exams. He was studying a ton of hours and it just wasn't working. So he came back to Superfast CPA, watched the videos, started implementing our process, and then started passing his exams. So in this interview, you'll hear Thomas just talk through all the ups and downs and what he learned from all those ups and downs. So he has a lot of really good insights about spending a lot of time studying and talking about the specific strategies he was trying, studying anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a day. And even when that wasn't working, and then being able to look back and see why that wasn't working and the strategies he implemented instead that were working when he started to pass his exams. So there's a lot you can learn from Thomas's interview. Before we get into the interview with Thomas, I just want to mention our free webinars. So these are our CPA study strategy trainings where we walk through the key strategies that every successful study process will have some version of. You'll learn how to find the time to study, even if you're extremely busy and currently struggle with sticking to a routine or finding the time to study. You'll learn how to build re-review into your daily process so that instead of slowly forgetting all the topics you've previously covered, you actually improve upon all the topics as the weeks go by. And the other thing is you will learn how to study very, very efficiently so that you can literally spend way less hours sitting in front of your review course, but be getting better results from less time sitting in front of your review course. So that makes it much easier to stay consistent. So as you can see, those things all blend together and benefit each other when you know how the whole process is supposed to fit together. So the link to that training will be down in the description of either the podcast episode or this YouTube video. So with that out of the way, let's get to the interview with Thomas. So we'll just kind of start with like a direct question about pre-Superfast CPA, after Superfast CPA, and then from there we'll kind of go into your whole story. So basically that's the question. Like what were your main struggles with the study process before finding and starting to use Superfast CPA?
So I spent a lot of time just wasting time. So you had your review course and there's just so much to get through. And then super fast kind of nailed on hot topics, just quick refreshers. I loved listening to audio just whenever, like driving,
Yeah.
during work. And then like, even if I had a quick break, I'd do the quick 5-question quiz. And like, I just tried to change my mindset because I was using Becker, and there's just so much material there that you kind of fall into that trap. It's like, oh, I have to sit down at a desk and study. Whereas like, no, like you could be on the go studying, and you're always learning. Whereas you don't need to be sitting down in a perfect environment trying to study. So that's how Superfast helped me change my mindset to, every second of the day you could be learning.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I love to hear that. That's it just makes it easier too. I mean, it's versus sitting there for 5 or 6 hours, you can just
Yeah.
be going through the rest of your day and still fit in that same amount of study time for the most part.
Yeah, exactly, like, it's kinda random. I mean, you could be out on, getting lunch or dinner and be sitting waiting for your table to get ready, and then you just, "Oh, let me just do a quick quiz," you know?
Hmm.
Or, you're sitting in traffic, someone else is driving, of course, and you're doing, you're doing a quick quiz, doing some audio, so it was really helpful, and then you're
Awesome.
doing it right on your phone too.
Yep.
And so like before Superfast CPA, were you doing like the typical approach, like watch the lecture, read the notes, then do the quiz? Like, was that what you
Oh,
were doing?
yeah. Oh, yeah. So my journey, I was like I'd started right out of college, so I was like, "Oh, I'll just treat it like a full-time job. I'll do 8 hours
Mhm.
a day, and I'll go through the whole course," and then I was like, "Wow, like, I don't think I'm ready for to practice simulations yet." Like, I have no like, I have no knowledge. There's no like, you're throwing me into something, and there's no foundation there.
Hmm.
So I just felt myself wasting a lot of time, and then the whole super fast mindset of like just practice, practice, do questions, and listen to audio, and then obviously you have your notes for stuff that you might feel like you need to remember. Um, so that's how super fast helped
Yeah.
change that because 8 hours a day is tough,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
especially when you're not getting passing results. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. The motivation gets real hard if you're putting in a bunch of time and effort and it's still not, it's one thing if it's working, right? But when you
Exactly.
have this sense that all this time is not really like doing anything, then it's real hard to keep doing that. Um, let's see. So, what did an average day? You mentioned 8 hours. So, did you have a break between finishing your master's and starting like your first big job, and where you were studying all day?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I had graduated in 2020, and I didn't start my full time job until January of 22. And so I was like, oh, I
Okay.
could hit the ground running and pass all four exams first shot, and everything sounds like really good. And then
Hmm.
you start doing it, and it's like, oh, you start failing a couple. And not that I
Yeah.
got lazy, like I didn't get lazy, I just kept going, but my whole process didn't work. And then that's where I found
Hmm.
super fast. And I was like, oh, I got to change my process.
Hmm.
So funny story. I started thinking that, oh, I would have four exams passed. I had one passed. And that was like a
Yeah.
2 year, almost,
Yeah.
18-month span where like it would have worked out perfect, but nothing's perfect. So, that's when super fast really helped me out when I was working and I was trying to study also. I was like, okay, I'm at work. I have a quick break. Like, let me do something. Let me study quick. And one of those things where you don't need to pull up on your work computer and like so then people don't think you're working. You just take a break, take a walk, go outside, and have a lunch break or something. So that's how super fast really helped me.
Yeah. Okay. So an 18-month period where you're trying to study all day, every day. And how did were you just going on the same section, or just what happened
Yes.
over that 18 months?
So 18 months, right? So I started with FAR and I failed FAR a couple times. And then I ended up passing FAR. Actually, on my fifth shot. And then I got into audit. And for reference, I'm in tax. So audit is not,
Yeah.
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 So it's like, night and day. So I was like, so let me get audit done. And audit just kept kicking me. And especially when I was down, it just kept kicking me while I was down. And I started work and I probably took audit maybe 3 or 4 times before I even started work, and, I ended up taking audit 10 times. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I was just lost. Because I was like, "Oh, I passed far." Like, there was that mindset where like, "Oh, if you pass far, you could pass everything."
Yeah.
So, not that I changed my approach, I think it got worse where I just started getting more insane. Like, I was just like, "Let me just hit more hours. Let me just," you know, I redo the whole course again. I don't what else am I supposed to do? So I didn't really have a process down with audit yet. So that kinda got me through that 18 months before I started working where, like, I didn't really have a process. Like, I'm not wasted I don't wanna say wasted time, but it was just time not well spent. Like, I
Hmm.
was studying, but, like, I wasn't seeing results, because
Yeah.
I just I thought I had a process with FAR, but it just didn't carry over to the next exam. And that was just painful for me to go through, because it was like, what do you do?
Mhm.
So once I started working, I ended up passing. I started work in January of 22. So I got right into tax busy season. So I was actually still taking audit exams during busy season, and I was failing by 2 3 points. And I'm like, oh my god, what's
Oh
going to get
my
me
gosh.
over? What's going to get me over the hump? I got a couple 74s, a couple 73s, a lot of 70s. Like, what's
Man,
going
that
to get
is
me over this hump? And so I was going crazy because I was working and trying to get used to a new job, busy season.
Mhm.
And I ended up passing audit 6 months into my job in June. And so I had 2 exams passed. But it was almost a year later. I passed FAR in January of July of 21. So I was almost a year later between my
okay.
passings. And then I was competing with the 18-month rule,
Mhm.
Hmm.
which now they just changed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just added a year or maybe even more.
I think it's
Yeah,
total 30 months.
30
30
months now.
Um,
months. Yeah,
I don't think all states have like applied it yet, but I think it's like it's inevitable, like it's gonna happen.
yeah. I
Yeah, it's
think
gonna happen. Which is good, because that 18-month rule, like, you have people, they pass 3 exams and then they lose one, and then, okay, I'm just gonna stop, which I wouldn't
Mhm.
recommend doing. I mean, you did all that work, just keep going. So I was just like, oh, I got 2 exams left to pass in 3 or 4 months. So I ended up taking a sabbatical from work to pass BEC and reg, and I ended up passing those in 3 months, which during the sabbatical. So that was helpful. But by that point, I was like, okay, I don't need to be wasting time on silly things like lectures. Like, I watched a lecture, but I didn't need to keep rewatching them. Like, that wasn't
Mhm.
what was helping me. It was the practice. And then
Yeah.
I really like the audio notes from Superfast, because I literally, no joke, had those on repeat, like all day. Especially when you're working, because you have headphones in all day long. At least for me. So I made it educational.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I have Nate's voice all day.
Man, that's a lot. All day, every day at work. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At, at what point, so you took FAR a whole bunch of times, you took audit a whole bunch of times. At what point in all the process did you get super fast? Like when was that?
So I had super fast at the beginning, but I didn't really value it. I just thought that my review course was the end all be all.
Mhm.
And it's actually my dad that was. He saw Nate's YouTube ad, and he was like, "You got to get it. You got to get it," because he saw that it's like, you have 18 months. Like, before I started working at that point, he's like, He'll help you. He'll help you." And you never listen to your parents. You always
Yeah.
take what they say for granted. So I had the program. I wasn't utilizing it, because I was just so overwhelmed with all the information that I was out there. So at that point, I was trying to weed out what I didn't need, like, with all the review courses, because it's like,
Mhm.
oh, do I choose Becker? Do I choose Roger or
Mhm.
Jaeger? Or what's my main review course? And then you have all those supplements.
Yeah.
Um, so it's and then you have a bunch of different people. Oh, this worked for me. This worked for me. And I was like, you know, I really thought Becker was the end all be all, but it's not. It's a great program, but it's just, there's a lot of information to weasel your way through and
Mhm.
navigate. And um, you definitely need something like super fast to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's overwhelming, and you're at that point where you graduate, and it's like, do you really want to be studying all day? And it's like, can we get this done quickly? So I was like, oh, Becker, let's go. And didn't work out. So I was like, Dad, another one for you, man. Tell me so.
Yeah.
Is he CPA?
So my dad's a financial planner,
Okay.
CFP. His brother's a CPA, and then his uncle's a CPA also. So he wanted
Gotcha.
to be different, and that's why he went with the CFP route. So he thinks he's a CPA, but
Yeah. I was just
he's
wondering
not.
how he saw one of our ads, because it's typically like they're like intent based, the way you set it
Yeah,
up in the ad interface.
yeah.
Um, but That's closely related enough. Maybe that was part of like the targeting. I don't know. But yeah, that's
Yeah, I
funny.
mean, it worked. It worked because he does a lot of tax preparing to more circle service his clients.
Mhm.
So I don't know if maybe he was listening to it something related with tax, new update in the industry or something, and
Mhm.
that's how it came up. I'm not sure, but it
Yeah.
came up, and I'm so thankful it did.
Yeah. So yeah, where in there did you, I mean, so you had our stuff from the beginning. What finally changed to where you did start using it? And when
So
was that in your process?
yeah, so I mean, I was like I was really utilizing it. I was probably doing 5 questions during breakfast, 5 during lunch, and then 5 during dinner. And that's when I was doing so 15 questions a day, as you know, is nothing. Like
Mhm.
that's just a warm up.
Yeah.
Uh when I really hit the ground running, like, and I started passing exams, I was probably doing over 200 multiple choice questions a day. And that's a mixture of with just super fast and Becker.
Mhm.
I wouldn't set, and I also started to learn that you shouldn't say, oh, I'm going to do 8 hours today. I started to set like, okay, I want to do 100 multiple choice Becker questions, and that's my day
Mhm.
for Becker. And then the rest was super fast or something, and then notes, and then go out and get your mind off of it, go for a run
Mhm.
or do something else, burn some energy. So it was at that point, I probably once I started working full time, so probably a whole year that went by, that I was like, oh, I'm really not using this product right. um, so I started doing more questions on the go, more questions whenever I can, and then just having the audio notes all the time. And then I
Mhm.
even printed out. That's a great feature that you added,
Mhm.
being able to print out the notes because then I was marking it up. Um,
Okay.
and when I don't even want to say this because I hate when my dad says it, but when the notes were available for me, because it makes me sound old, but it was maybe a year ago, the notes were probably 80, 90 pages, and I know now they're probably 300,
Yeah, they're
just
long.
because all
Yeah,
the
we have
changes,
expanded them a
right?
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I just had it down to a T. Like, I was just like, all right, I have 10 pages a night to read. And then once you read it the first time, you just were reviewing stuff that you didn't know. And
Mhm.
then probably once a week reviewing the stuff you knew or you were comfortable with. So I kind of was just making piles with paper of the topics that were comfortable to me. And then regardless, every day I just kept having the loops of audio on. And
Mhm.
that's what helped me.
Yeah.
Did you have the pro
And
course or just the study tools?
I believe it's the pro's top of the line one.
Yeah, pro's the
yeah,
one where
with
he like
the
he had the
strategy
videos where
video.
he explains it to you.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I had. So yeah, I didn't. I just was just started jumping into the questions, like the content related to the CPA exam, not listening to Nate showing you how the course works. And then that's when I kind of
That's
realized, oh, actually, I'm doing this all wrong. Because then I was like, that was actually a day after I got my results back and I failed. I was like, oh, let me regroup here. And then I was like, oh, I've just been doing this all wrong. um,
okay. So
so
you went in and watched the pro videos, and that's where you kind of changed to the question first approach.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
It
That
was
makes it a lot easier.
a lot easier because you're under that mindset. It's like, oh, let me do the lecture and then let me take notes. And but you're taking notes and stuff that you don't really know, or maybe you do know, but you don't know how to apply it to a question.
Yeah.
So that's that was the biggest misunderstanding for me because it was just like it's the same thing at school. Like they teach you something and you take a test on it right away, but you're learning something maybe a month or 2 months out, and
Mhm.
one time it's not really sustainable to keep that
Yeah.
knowledge. So that's why the whole practice first approach really, really helped because I don't know where I would be without that shift.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. The interview we just did earlier today, that's what she was saying. Very similar, actually. When she first started, she was studying like 8 hours a day. She'd watch the whole video, read the chapter, get to where she felt like she understood the lecture and the chapter really well, then go to the practice questions. She still couldn't answer them. So she thought, well, apparently I didn't understand the video and the chapter well enough. So she'd go back,
Yeah.
do it again, come back to the questions. It's still not making sense. So that is a big distinction. No matter what you're doing with the lecture or the chapter, you still have to go through that process of working through the questions, feeling confused, wrestling with the solution. Like the questions are the thing,
Yeah.
that's what you do on test day. So yeah, it's
Yeah, and that was like I made the most sense. It's like practice what you do on test day. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, you're right. I don't take notes on test day. Like
yeah.
I answer questions. So what started shifting for me was I started taking notes on the questions I was getting wrong. And
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
those explanations started to come out key. Like that's when you realize what you knew, what you didn't know.
Mhm.
Because you're kind of able to narrow it with audit at least. You're able to narrow it down to two answers. It's like,
Mhm.
Mhm.
at least like with reg and far, like you're even I guess BC, you get a number. So it's
Yeah.
either you missed a calculation or something. But with audit, it's so, you know, you miss a word and you're completely down the wrong page.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
that's
Audit
just
is
yeah,
unique like that.
it's very
It's like
unique.
so conceptual that, and everything sounds the same. Like when I was recording the audit audio notes, I felt like I was just saying the same thing over and over and over again, but it was slightly different. Just this slight difference, and yeah, that audit can be really hard to remember all those small differences because it all sounds so similar.
Oh yeah, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah,
But
especially never working in audit. Audit is,
Hmm.
yeah, can be very difficult because you don't have that like context having worked in audit. I think audit can easily be the hardest exam if you didn't ever
Hmm.
work in audit.
yeah, and then like if you, and I found this with me, like you look at the clock and the kind of other misconception that big course review courses give you, like Becker, like you're you're competing with the clock only if you allow it though. So like they kind of give you a framework of where you should be in the exam based on the time. So you know, with Tesla one, for example, you should be like 40 minutes on it, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. So if you're trying to stay on that tight structure, you start rushing, and audit is not something you want to rush through because it's like those key words that are like pick the best available or
Hmm.
like the least likely. So
Yeah.
if you miss that, then you screwed up the whole question. So I kind of liked what Superfast offered was like you do 5 questions and however long it takes you. um,
Hmm.
Mhm.
so that was like my biggest struggle on it. I was like, I'm supposed to be somewhere else on the test right now, and I'm not. Um,
Okay, I see.
so
Yeah, so you're constantly worrying about where you're at time wise with each little testlet instead of just really focusing on each question.
Hmm.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think that's why I was failing by a couple points here and there, and I just like I knew I it was like I knew the knowledge. Like once you start failing that many times, I was like, oh, let me change how I review this. But like you don't need to you fail, you don't need to redo the whole course again. So
Mhm.
it's just like let me keep practicing just questions only. And at that point, I was just doing only questions. Like that's no notes, just all questions. So that's kind of how I passed audit with it being so tricky. I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't give that advice to anybody. Like, oh, worry about the clock. Don't worry about the clock. And just do as many questions and read slow, read carefully. Because it shouldn't really be that hard, but only if you make it. And I think like that's kind of what the big review courses throw at you. They give you a lot of this information. You kind of have to weed through it, and I get it. They're covering their backs, but um, it's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough. So
Yeah.
Superfast was really helped narrow down top like hot topics. I'll call it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. And you mentioned writing out like why you were getting things wrong. Was that just normal notes type stuff, or were you making flashcards out of those, or what did you do with those? Did you like save those to review them later?
Yeah, so if they were like a big topic, I would make a flashcard and just keep reviewing it. Like if it was something that offered various different areas. Then I would just kind of write it in a journal and just, you know, but like if it was one topic that I just kept getting wrong, it was just I put it right on a flashcard. And then I
Mhm.
would add, because like some questions, it was like there were like step 1, step 2, and like a bunch of other areas in there that I was like, okay, this has to be a flashcard. And then other than that, I would put, if they weren't in a flashcard, it would be in that journal that I would kind of read like a book,
Mm-hmm.
just when I got tired, and just kind of
Mhm.
read through. Oh yeah, I remember that question. That's why I got it wrong, um, type of thing.
That makes sense.
And then reviewing your flashcards, did you do those more in your final review, or were you kind of just ongoing reviewing those day to day?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to start the day just like as a warm up to review some flashcards, and maybe close the day like reviewing, going through some flashcards. Um, like with BEC, I found flashcards really helpful. So like I was reviewing those all the time. But with the others, probably first thing in the morning and first thing at like before I went to bed. And then really intense when I was 2 weeks before my exam, probably
Okay.
maybe three
Yeah.
or four times a day, because like they weren't a thick stack, but they were just I don't know, maybe 25, 30 flashcards. So
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
like it,
So you
yeah.
really narrowed it down to like just like not a ton, but just like these really specific. Like I don't know how to do this thing, so like okay. Okay. And did you have like
Yeah.
a physical stack? That's what
Oh
it
yeah.
sounds like.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I had a physical stack, yeah, because
Okay.
that way, like, actually, when I went to the exam, because the whole mindset was, like, before you get to the exam in your car, I would just flip through them quick,
Yep.
Yeah.
like, "Okay, yeah, I know this," and there's kinda like a mental, self-esteem boost, like, you're sitting in
Yeah.
your car, "Yeah, I got this," like, "I know what this says, I wrote it,"
Yeah.
um, that type of thing. So that's why I kinda tried to only make it on a flashcard if, like, I kept getting it continuously
Mhm.
wrong, and
Yep.
then, um I kind of wish the exam kind of, the blueprint that they give you if you fail, it's not very helpful, in my opinion.
Right.
So I kind of wish that like it helped narrow it down, because like you could be getting it wrong on your software, like on your study tools, but in the exam you could be getting it right, and it's like, okay, well, what don't I actually know?
Yeah. It's just
So
like it's just broken up into like the areas, but it does
yeah,
not individual topic. Essentially, all it says is weaker,
yeah,
and it's like, well, okay.
yeah. Of
There's
course,
like 30
everything should be
topics there.
weaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I've talked to people that have failed. Maybe this happened to you, but that failed the same section multiple times, and their score report is like vastly different every time, just because they're only organizing it down to 4 areas or 4 or 5
Mhm.
content areas. Yeah. So.
Like, yeah, that really bothered me, because I was like, "Wait a second, like, how could it go from stronger all the way to weaker, and then even
Yeah.
weaker all the way to stronger?" Like,
And I still
I
failed.
don't yeah, or if you
Yeah,
have, like,
that's
4 like, say, like, 3 out of the 4 topics are all stronger, and you get 1 comparable, it's like, "Well, I still fail. What just happened?"
Mhm.
yeah.
So, that drove me nuts.
So through all this, you're in your you know, what kept you motivated through all this? Like, how did you keep
Yeah,
going?
that's a big question.
After all the like you were failing a whole bunch at first, and then you did pass. But yeah, what kept you going?
A lot. I mean, people think I'm crazy, but I figured, first of all, I went through 4 years of school, got 150 credits, all in preparation for this exam, and I wasn't
Hmm.
gonna let them fail me.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was like, first of all, that's a
Exactly.
lot of money to throw at a degree
Hmm.
that the end goal is to get the CPA. And
Hmm.
trust me, there's a lot of things that you could do with just an accounting degree, but they kind of put it down your throat, like, oh yeah, you got to get your CPA through college. And I think now that I have it, I feel uh like I completed that goal, but of like, oh yeah, my professors, I got the CPA, but there's other people that just, you don't need it. They kind of gave you that impression that you do need it. So like I was like, I want to prove them wrong. I want to get it,
Hmm.
type of thing. And my 4 years of college wasn't a waste.
Yeah.
And then the whole other thing was like my dad. We have like people in the business that like, you know, my dad's not a CPA, but people are like, oh yeah, my accountant, my accountant. He doesn't want to be known as that. Just he's a tax preparer. But I wanted to be able to fill those shoes of, okay, I could step in and I'm actually a CPA now in the
Mhm.
family business type of thing, and that's what really kept me going.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's kind of just there's no downside. Well, the downside is the studying, obviously,
Mhm.
but once you
Yeah,
have it, it just kind of it unlocks all the benefits. Like you said, the CPA or accounting's somewhat unique in that all the college that you do is really just to qualify to even take these exams. It's exactly what
yeah,
you said. That idea drove me nuts. That exact idea.
yeah. Because I was like, oh my god, like if I first of all, you're a freshman, sophomore in college, you're like, what the heck is a CPA? Like I know it, but then it's like, oh my god, like why can't I just do that now? Like can't these intermediate accounting tests count for the CPA? You know,
Right.
like
Mhm.
they're hard enough. And then you're like, what are you talking about? I have to go through a whole nother year or 2 years, or some people take a long time. I mean, for me, I think it was almost 3 years. Um, I was going crazy. I was going crazy. But it was all for just because I wanted it. And I wasn't gonna let someone else fail me. Like I didn't know those people grading my tests. They didn't know me personally. So I wasn't gonna let them determine my future.
Mhm.
Just failing tests because you get so many people. Like I said earlier, you're racing against an 18-month window and you
Mhm.
pass 3 exams and you lose a credit. Like I can only imagine what that pain is like. And then, w- then you're really chasing your tail down a rabbit hole there. It's like, what do you do? So I just tried to stay focused and stay determined, and not let someone else determine my outcome. Especially when I knew senior year, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take the CPA. I have a job at a public accounting firm, not Big Four, um, but I have a public accounting job. That the whole point of being a CPA is to be in public, serve the public, and I think if you don't um, have that, like you're in public accounting, you should probably I don't know, like it's not you could better serve your accounting degree elsewhere.
Yeah.
So like that was just my
Yeah,
philosophy, and I was
and
like,
you
I
will be
knew,
limited
yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be
in public
limited, and
accounting.
I mean it's a certified public accounting um, certification, and if you're in public, then I think you need it because it levels the playing field, just in the industry, and then where you go from there is, how good of a worker, how many clients you bring in, and if you have your masters and you then you move up, but um, I think they I don't know. That was just my philosophy, and that's what I just
Mhm.
kept telling myself. And
Yeah.
whether it's true or a lie, that's what helped me get me through. I was like, if I want to be in public accounting forever,
Yeah.
I have to get the CPA, or else I'll be the first cut or whatever, fired, or I'll have to go somewhere else. I'll have to go private. And those people in private, they make really good money and they have great careers. But I just realized, I just felt I knew I was going to be in public for my whole career, and I needed that. I needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah, and I was gonna say, well, before Logan asked that, I was gonna ask something like how did you stay positive? Or I don't really like how motivation's classified as like positive or negative. Really, it's more because I was similar to you. I wasn't like, come on, Nate, you can do this. I was like pissed that I kind of used, I guess, a negative mindset to push myself through it because I failed far once, and that was after kind of doing things the normal way, studying like 4 or 5 hours a day. Um, and yeah, I just use that same idea. I mean, whatever you can latch onto to keep yourself going doesn't necessarily have to be like positive mental attitude. I mean, whatever gets you to sit down each day and study,
Mhm.
whatever you can muster to do that, it's really all that matters.
Yeah, yeah. Like for me, I was just like I never failed anything before in my life. Like everything that I did, I was able to control. And like this is the grading process, the prometric, process. Like those are all things you don't have control over, and I wasn't gonna let that determine my outcome. So like that, when you fail, there was like definitely that anger. when you get the score, or the anxiety waiting for the score to come out. And um, then the couple days after, you'd just be so angry that like, okay, well, how am I going to do this? And then by the third day, I was like, I have no choice. Like I, I I'm not turning back. And so I kind of used
Mhm.
that anger to fuel as motivation. And
Mhm.
you know, the process started to get comfortable. It was just started to be normal. Like once you kind of
Mhm.
started to break that, like, oh, I have to sit down and study. When you stop making it like a chore and you just start doing it, and that's like super fast. Like it was just, it was always in my pocket with my phone. Like it was always there, so it didn't feel like it was a chore. Like almost came enjoyable to a point where it's like, okay, yeah, I have to study, or let me just do some questions quick. Um,
Yeah.
so that's what helped just keep me going.
Mhm.
Yeah, several good things right there. The embracing that, embracing or accepting that this is what this is going to require day to day, week to week. It makes it a lot easier to then make it a habit. So yeah, that's a good point. You have to just accept what it's going to be. And
Mhm.
then even still though, if you're nailing your studying in the morning, kind of the whole thing we talk about, you do 2 hours in the morning, you can study throughout the day on your phone. And then in the evenings, you can still kind of have your evenings to yourself like normal. Um, yeah. Is that how did you switch to doing the mornings and just 2 hours a day?
Yeah, so I'm so happy you mentioned that because I would have just overlooked it. When I started working full time, like I started waking up earlier. I mean, not I see crazy people. They're up at like they're waking up early. It's like 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, well, it's not me, but I probably could maybe at 6:30 get 2 hours of solid studying and before work. Before get into work for 9, and then do something like an hour during lunch, and then maybe an hour or two um, before I would leave work. Like I would be off the clock, 5 o'clock, do 2 hours, come home, and then it's 7 o'clock, and I already did maybe 4 or 5 hours, and I'm just
Mhm.
getting home to enjoy my night, type
Mhm.
of thing. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what helped me get through it all. Yeah.
So you were doing the 2 hours, and when you mentioned all those, 4 or 5 hours, is that all Becker, or are you including some like just reading the review notes and stuff like that in there?
Yeah, it was a mixture of doing some Becker questions and then reading some audio, or some of the super fast notes, and then
And
listening to the
listening.
audio in the
Yeah.
car
Okay.
rides back and forth, and then
Okay.
them all day long. And then I would just do those questions. And then the question, like yeah, I had my evenings, but like that's when I'd be on the couch and there would be like a Knicks game or something on, a basketball game. And I would just, have the super fast questions um, going in. And that's when I'd probably be able to knock out maybe 50 or 60 questions, you
Mhm.
know,
Yep.
and while watching a game, which kind of seems weird, but there's a lot of like commercial breaks and stuff like that where you could just
Mhm.
knock out some
Yeah.
questions and
Mhm.
actually be focused. And then even like basketball, like it's a perfect opportunity. Like you don't need to see someone shoot a free throw, like
Yeah.
it's a perfect time to do some like quick questions.
I was just gonna say, like the end of NBA games now with the whole fouling thing, is
Oh,
just like borderline unwatchable. It drives me nuts. But
it's nuts.
yeah, perfect time to study. The
Yeah.
last 2 minutes takes a half hour.
Yeah, or even baseball. Like I'm a big Yankees fan too, but it's like, you could hear the sound of the bat making contact with the ball,
Uh,
and then okay, I'll look up quick. But them
yeah,
pacing around the mound and stuff like that. Who needs to see that?
right. Yeah, right. We get asked that a lot. Like, how do I fit in these mini sessions as much as you say? And you know, you can create opportunities to do it, like you said. At work, even you can, like, it's normal to take a break, like leave your desk like once every hour or 2 hours. So
Yep.
you can find or make opportunities to do them. And then again, most people kind of sit and do mindless stuff at least like an hour a night. I mean, maybe it's just like realizing it, but there is a lot of time. It's the whole screen time thing. You get your screen
Mhm.
time report, even if you're busy. you see this thing that's like you found 6 hours a day to stare at your phone somehow. Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah. So you can be using that time. So one question I had was when you were trying to study all day, like all day, every day, and then versus when you started working full time, but you were doing this more structured thing, the 2 hours in the morning, and then you kind of had the bulk of your studying done by the time you got home from work. I mean, was it less stressful? I'm guessing the period where you were working even, but studying in the morning and then kind of having your evenings to relax somewhat was less stressful than the time where you weren't even working, but you were trying to study all day.
Yeah, because I felt more, okay, goes, okay, I went to work. I got some studying in, and now it's just all bonus time. Like I could
Mhm.
do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And obviously when you're getting closer to an exam like that, I would be studying. So you're kind of doing more hours, during that time, but you didn't feel like you needed to be studying. Whereas like, if you're treating it like a job, like 8-hour day, at least I was like, okay, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I have to be studying, and 5 o'clock I'm
Mhm.
gone. But then it's like, you kind of, but by the time 5 o'clock is starting to hit, maybe even 3:30, 3 o'clock, it's like, you're starting to check out.
Mhm.
So that's like a big bulk of your day where you feel like you didn't really accomplish much because, like, yeah, you get through a lecture, a couple lectures, do a couple questions. Like, yeah, you might show 100% completed, but you didn't, learn anything. At least you thought. You just got through it. So like that in its own was a win. Like I was working, I got through material, but I was understanding it. Whereas like before 8 hours a day, I was just like, oh yeah, I got to get through it. And then the real kicker was like you get through the whole Becker course and you take that mock simulated exam and you bomb it. Like it's like,
Mhm.
whoa, like I completed the whole course. What does this mean? um,
Yeah.
so like that whole like working full time and having that structure, just that whole mental win of like I got something done that was also studying, working. I had a great lunch. I got outside. Um, where like you're studying 8 hours a day. You're waking up from your bedroom. Maybe you're going a foot towards your desk in your bedroom, or you're coming downstairs to your basement. You're not getting anything. You're like I just didn't feel like I was accomplishing anything. Like you didn't even change your clothes, shower. It's just like, oh, but like when you get out, you go to work. It's like those mini wins that you kind of lost because
Mhm.
like the whole COVID thing kind of put people in. I think at least myself, like I was 2020 graduate, and then I just went right into studying, and it's like, you're not leaving the house. um,
Mhm.
so like I think that whole thing too, like getting away, getting back into the office, leaving your house, that was just made life so much easier. And
Mhm.
then the whole exam process seemed better. Studying
Yeah.
process seemed better. Just with that alone, like it just had nothing to do with any review courses or anything. Just get out, do something. Uh, like you take for granted like those little things of like getting your car, driving, or walking to your office. The walk from the parking lot to the office, like that's huge. And whereas before you just really didn't think much of it. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's how that my mindset started to shift when I started working, and that whole 8 hour
Mhm.
a day thing just was. Some people do it, and I'm so jealous, I guess, and applaud them. Because like my girlfriend passed 4 exams studying 8 hours a day before she started working, and I'm like, ow. But it worked for her. So that's kind of why I felt like I had to do it. Um, but it just didn't work for me, and I know it doesn't work for a lot of other people. So
Yeah.
So one thing you said earlier I was going to comment on was so along those lines, you said at some point you started making like a number based goal, like instead of just tomorrow I have all day every day to study, like whatever
yeah,
that means,
yeah,
versus I'm going to work through 100 MCQs today.
yeah,
That's two totally different things. Like you said, it's really easy if kind of your whole approach is unstructured or just not strategic. It's easy for these video lectures to just expand and take half of that time or more before
Yeah.
you're, and you've spent maybe you had 8 hours to study, but you spent maybe an hour or two on like the key thing, which would be
Yeah.
the questions. Whereas, yeah, like the number based, what is that called? Like setting benchmarks to hit is so much
Yes.
more effective. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was, because you're sitting through a lecture, and half of it, maybe a lecture could be 2 hours long, and half of it you're just like, all you keep hearing is underline this, box that, circle
Mhm.
that, and it's like, okay,
Mhm.
Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah.
And then you just get lost in like, okay, I did 8 hours today, but all I remember is box this, circle that, underline
It's
this, and it's like,
a great point. Yeah.
what just happened?
Mhm.
So
Well,
Yeah, I mean, that's something I rant about all the time and we
mhm.
talk about is be honest with yourself. Like, is every hour you spend, are you getting closer to being able to like answer the questions on test day, or are you really just pretending? Are you just telling yourself a
Mhm.
story that you're studying?
yeah, it's like a lie that you're telling yourself. Like, yeah, I got through the lecture, and like, maybe halfway through the lecture, because it's so long, you're pausing it and you're just getting up and going to the bathroom. Well, guess what? On exam day, you can't just get up and go to the bathroom, or like get
Mhm.
up
Yeah.
and go check your phone. Like, there's a whole process. Like, you have to finish, like get to a checkpoint. And
Yeah.
so that's what like the lecture doesn't really teach you. I think honestly, like as a benchmark, maybe review courses, they should just like start you off with like a mock exam, so that you kind of know that structure of like, okay, like you have, you got to get through 36 or probably, yeah, 36 questions if you're talking
Mhm.
about audit. And then you could go to the bathroom or something. But knowing that if you do that, it's counting against your clock
Mhm.
on your exam. So um, that's kind of, like that was a big culture shock too. It's like, what are you talking about? I can't just get up, because like a lot of this is self study, self learning,
Mhm.
and it's
Yep.
like, oh, I'm not gonna. I could just pause it. I'll pick up later or
Yeah.
something, and that's not. So
Pro
that's why
my
the whole like,
precursor. Yeah. Sorry.
yeah, I'm gonna get through 100 questions, and I'm gonna sit down before and not get up till I get through 100 questions,
Mhm.
and then maybe you review at a different time. But
Yeah.
um,
So
I,
with your 100 questions, what was like kind of going along with that? So you're doing lots of multiple choice questions. What was your strategy for the Sims? Did you also do a lot of Sims, or was it mainly the MCQs that you were
yeah, so
studying?
I don't want to forget about the Sims. So I was getting I was really focusing on the multiple choice questions, but then I would say daily I would probably try to work in at 4 Sims throughout the day.
Okay. Okay.
Just so that like I didn't forget like the structure and
Mhm.
that type of thing. Even though like Sims, when you're randomly generating them through the review courses, like they're kind of just random. So like
Mhm.
some like I knew like, okay, I'll just skip this, or like this one's just too outrageous, like the construction, um, revenue recognition and FAR and stuff like that. Like, they're not going to ask a sim on this or something that I just thought like, oh, I don't need to do this. Or like, there's some sims in Becker that are just like completely outrageous. I'm like, this is not helping the topic here. This is not helps solidifying the knowledge. So, I would just skip it, but I wanted to keep at least 4 sims a day
Okay.
to not lose touch, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I
Yeah.
mean, if you were doing so many questions a day and you were also trying to do Sims every day, did you really have like a final review, or did you just kind of like get through all the material and then take the exam pretty soon after? Like, what was?
Yeah,
Did you have a
yeah.
final review?
So,
Hmm.
I mean, I failed every exam once, or at least once. So, like, the whole like to answer your question, yeah, it was probably like the whole thing was reviewing.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
got through the material, and then I did it within, I don't know, maybe a month, and then I left like 2 weeks for a review,
yeah.
and then I failed. So maybe I was rushing my review phase, or maybe I was probably wasting time on my initial learning phase, because I just felt like I needed to get through the lectures, and if I didn't do
Hmm.
that, then I felt like I didn't I didn't accomplish anything. So I needed to see the 100% completed. Like I did everything in
Yeah.
the course.
Yeah.
And like I needed to see the 100%, and now Becker offers like exam day ready. Like I needed to see that, because it was like, okay, I guess I'm ready. Like the thing says I'm ready, but I guess subconsciously you knew you weren't ready.
Mhm.
You know, so like one of those weird
Yeah.
things. Because like when I failed and went to go restudy, I was like, oh, I'm just reviewing everything. Like it was a different mindset. And then the thing said that I was um, exam day ready. So you're building more confidence. I thought I was building more confidence by knowing that the review course was 100% completed, and I was just
Mhm.
going through it, and then weeding out what I didn't know, or versus what I didn't know, what I did or did know versus what I didn't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long was your work sabbatical to finish those last two exams that you mentioned?
Yeah, I did a 3 month sabbatical. So it was about 11 weeks. Yeah, about 11
Okay.
weeks. So just shy of 3 months. But yeah,
You finished your last two in those 11 weeks?
yeah, finished my last
Okay.
two within that time. And I actually, um, I felt it wasn't one of those things where I went back to work knowing that I passed my last two. I went back to work, and I'm like, they're like, oh, how was your sabbatical? Did you finish the exams? I was like, I don't know. I'm waiting for scores. I'm waiting for
Yeah.
scores. I failed. I took them. I failed too. I know that. And then I retook them. So I'm waiting. And so like that process was nerve wracking, because
Mhm.
you're coming back to work and everyone's like, how did it go? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was also really rewarding, because I found out I passed two exams in the same night, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. And sabbatical was worth it. Um,
Yeah.
so that was a glorifying feeling, but sabbatical was helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And were you studying all day every day during the sabbatical?
I
Or
was, just because I
okay.
felt that time pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
But like again, was able to balance. Like I wasn't doing it just 8 hours straight. It was
Mhm.
more of like, okay, let me study. I'll go for a run, come back, study, maybe grab lunch, and then take the afternoon to go do something, and then review at night.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't like an 8 hour type of thing.
Yeah.
But it was just like I needed the sabbatical, just because I felt that time pressure of the clock, and I
Yeah.
didn't want to lose an exam. And it just kind of worked out where the sabbatical was in the fall, where like tax accountants really aren't, after October 15th, they're kind of,
Yeah.
waiting for 1099s and
Yeah.
January 1 to be there. So I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for me not to waste time at work, and just, get the exams done. Even though I had that structure of like 2 hours before, it just felt like, oh, one less thing to worry about work. Like I don't need it in my life. So that's kind of why the
Yeah.
sabbatical helped a lot. But
Yeah. Makes
I
sense.
kept that structure of like, not 8 hours straight. Like that was
Yeah.
Yeah.
nuts. Yeah.
So you had a score release where you got the two scores, and then so you went from basically you had two done, you knew you had taken those during your sabbatical, and then all in one score release you found out you were done.
Yeah, I actually it was a year. I got some notification. It was a year ago. It was like a year ago yesterday, maybe. So last February, I got
Okay.
the score, and I found out I passed two in that same night, and that was unbelievable, because you were like
Yeah.
halfway done and then to being done, and I was like, oh wow.
That's awesome.
Granted, like all I need, like I failed 74, 73 in the last two. So like, not that you're gonna pass, because you never know how you feel walking out of those things, but um just seeing the past scores and going from 50% to 100% was probably the best feeling. Like that made the whole process worth it, I guess. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like I don't know if that happened for you guys, but two two exams in the same night, but I it was like the best feeling.
Oh, yeah.
I actually might have
It's an
had
unreal feeling. Yeah. You did have it. I know
Yeah.
I've heard your story before.
because
Yeah.
I did my FAR retake and the normal audit exam like 7 days apart or something.
Mhm.
So I must have had that one score release where I got two scores. Yeah. I don't remember
Yeah.
it
And
specifically, but I must have. Anyways.
that's
What
awesome.
what did you
Yeah.
what did you do to celebrate? Did you do anything big to be like, I'm done?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so like at that point, like I couldn't even look. Like it was really nerve wracking, because it was like if I fail one of these, I lose an exam. So I'm still
Mhm.
at the same spot.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm still 50% done. So I couldn't even look at the computer. Like, I couldn't sign in, I couldn't do any of that. So it was actually my dad that did that for me. He did it. He's like,
That's
"Am I reading
cool.
this right? Am I reading this right? It has gotta be over 75." And I was like, "Are they both over?" And he's like, "I don't know, you tell me. They are." And I was like, "Oh my," like, it was I felt like a Superman. Like, I lifted him off the ground. Like, he's my dad. Like, I
Well,
didn't know I could do that. So,
yeah,
that
that's
was
cool.
kinda, I guess, like, that night, yeah, and then, a couple nice dinners to celebrate, but, nothing crazy like going on a vacation or
Mhm.
like that, but, we did celebrate a couple nice dinners, couple of nights out of, lots of drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it almost not almost, like for me, it was straight up weird to not have to study just all of a sudden because it'd just been such a routine. Was it weird for a few months
Yeah.
to not study?
Honestly, it still feels weird. Like, I still feel like I should, "Oh my god, I'm not studying. What am I doing?" Or, "Oh, I could actually watch a basketball game with no interruptions," or, "I could watch
Uh-huh.
a baseball game," or something like that. Like, it just still feels weird. So it's like a good weird feeling, though. Like, now I
Mhm.
could invest my time in something else, you know, like doing landscaping or stuff like that, like, personal things like taking care of your house, stuff like that, that like, oh, I'm paying someone to do this, I can do it myself. So it kind of
Mhm.
opened up some free time like that, and money. Like, I could I don't need to be sitting on a computer all day long, like, because you're working in public accounting, sitting on a computer or studying, and it's nice to actually get out and do things,
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
that free
definitely.
time.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, especially, you know, when you had like low lows for a long time, like
Yeah.
you were working on the exams for years to, yeah, in one day find out that you went from two done to four done, and then you're done. It's probably, yeah, just a crazy feeling.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I still, even now, I'm like, "Oh, should I be studying? I have nothing to study."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Taking a
but
certification.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, well, I think we kind of went through everything. Was there anything else in your process? Any other, I don't know, study methods that you used or maybe that emerged later on that really worked for you, or did we kind of talk about everything?
Yeah, I think probably everything was covered. I mean, just taking your own notes, even though the notes out there are so valuable. But like, even and taking your own notes could just be mocking up like your notes, and like, "Oh yeah, I know this," or like, "Oh, let me just add this in quick," and then there's maybe a quick
Mhm.
mnemonic or something quick just to remember that
Yeah.
specific thing. So I think like that's a big misconception too. Like, people have review notes and they think, "Oh yeah, like these could help me." But I just, the whole flashcard, my own flashcards, and everything else I used as a guide to help solidify like what I knew versus what I didn't know. I would just, that was a big key for me, and could be for someone else.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we did cover everything, but last question, anyways.
Mm.
What would be your top two or three tips to people that are still struggling with the study process? Or maybe what do you wish you would have known from day one that you could have told yourself to save yourself a bunch of time?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish that I knew that, your review course wasn't end all be all. Trying to balance work, life, studying, like, you definitely have to balance. Like, we're in a profession where like things balance, and you're doing all these things like a balance sheet, like assets equal liabilities. Like things are supposed to balance, and you're doing all these crazy things, and you're devoting 110% to studying. Like, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. So, definitely balancing work, life, study, anything, and then the end, your review course is the end all be all, and then the third, just make it fun, make it routine. Don't make it
Mhm.
such a chore, and just break it up. So I don't know. For me, it was just taking a break, going outside, going for a run, and I'm not even a
Mhm.
runner. Just
Yeah.
doing, yeah, like, just do
Yeah.
something to burn
Yeah.
burn some energy. Um, so
Yeah. Those are
That's
great.
fun.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing. Like studying from your phone just kind of allows you to, I think we already talked about this. It's so different accumulating 4 or 5 hours with a shorter main session and then your phone versus the same 4 to 5 hours all done in front of your review course. It's just very mentally draining. You have to fight yourself every day to sit down and do that. Whereas there's just not a huge dread factor to answer 5 questions on your phone throughout the day. So
Yeah.
it's easier. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole productivity, you just feel like you're productive, like you
Hmm.
did something. Whereas you're just spinning wheels, like I don't know, kind of gets you to a certain point, and you don't want to be there. Just keep spinning, spinning, and spinning.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So your phone's
Yeah.
there, and just use it.
Yeah.
Stop with the
Yeah.
social media.
Hmm.
Be productive.
You're already using it. That's what I'm always saying is like, you do
It,
this anyways. Like
yeah,
you're staring at your phone all day anyways. Just
exactly.
helping
Like
yourself out.
put the SuperFast app right next to your Instagram or Facebook app, and just click the SuperFast one instead.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like that type of deal. Like you're already doing it. So if you find time to look at social media, you can find time to take a couple, take a quick quiz.
Mhm. Yeah. Exactly. Well, thanks, Thomas. That was fun hearing your story, and I'm glad you found us. Or no, your dad. I'm glad your dad
Yeah.
found.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. But yeah, I'm glad everything helped after a journey like that, and congrats on being done.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Congrats to you guys too. This is a great program, and it's a tough journey to go down, but it's probably the most rewarding thing that I've been able to do so far in my life. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Once you're done, there's just this big, just a huge. I mean, because it is a huge accomplishment.
yeah,
We've talked about that on a few interviews recently, where it's like most adults, you get through school. Well, if you went to college or not, but something that requires like hours a day for months on end of this thing that you don't really want to do, like not very many people do something like that, whether you want to call it like to themselves on purpose. But yeah, it is. It's just you learn a lot about yourself or gain a lot of perseverance skills, focus skills. I mean, whatever you want to call it, but it is just a big accomplishment.
yeah. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I don't know. It's awesome. It's awesome
Yeah.
feeling being done, and once you just kind of trick your mind into making it normal, it's a game changer. So now
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help as many people as possible. Not I obviously to the extent that you guys do. I mean, you're touching many people. I'm just touching my circle of friends at work, and you guys
Yeah.
could do this type of thing. But like I said earlier with my dad, you take the people you see every day or those close connections for granted. Kind of in one ear out the other. But I'm so happy I listened to him on this. to got
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
to meet you guys, and really I don't know, help me get done. Like I think it was a big factor in contributing to my success.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great to hear. I hope it was, and yeah, it's just really awesome to be done, and it's awesome to hear people's full stories like that. I mean, especially
Hmm.
where, you know, you were like the discipline and the hard work was never the issue. You were doing it like 8 hours a day, and it's just coming across these small tweaks that just
Yeah,
change everything. So
yeah.
So that was the interview with Thomas. I'm sure you found that very helpful and motivating, and you probably got a lot of insights about how you can avoid big mistakes and do things more effectively and efficiently. If you did find this episode helpful, please take a second to review the episode on your favorite podcast app where you listen to these, or if you're watching this on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment in the video about something you got or like one takeaway you got from the video. And most of all, take a second to share this with someone you know who's working on their CPA exams, because these interviews collectively really are the most helpful free resource available anywhere for trying to figure out how to study effectively and pass your CPA exams when you're working full time. So thanks for watching or listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.